Hey, it's great to be with you with your Connect groups, and I love the thought that Pastor Mark shared with us in a team night around these two movements, that this invitation, come and see and go and tell. And I think that's really at the heart of our Christian faith, this idea, the gathered church, we gather together to meet with God, and then the scattered church, we're scattered out into the world, Monday to Saturday, as God's arms and legs in our world. And that's been at the heart of the Christian message always. If you go right back to Mark, when Jesus called the 12, it says Mark 3 verse 14, he appointed 12 that they might be with him and that he might send them out to preach. So there's this call to come and be with Jesus together and then go out on mission. And obviously at the end of the Gospels, Jesus commissions them to go out and reach all of the nations. But I love the fact he just didn't send them out with no experience. Halfway through the Gospels, he actually trains them to do this. And I think it's really helpful. We can learn some stuff from that. So Luke chapter 9, he sends out the 12 on mission. But Luke chapter 10, he sends out a group, maybe 70, 72. And it's like, oh, this is the wider body. This is the church sent out. This is not the religious professionals. This is the whole church mobilized in mission. And I love it too. He sent them out 2 by 2. It's like, this is not just doing this by myself, this is doing it in community, doing it in team. So again, I love the fact that as Connect groups, we're thinking, like, how do we be involved in mission together? And there's some real principles we can learn about how to go out in mission in community. So if you go down to verse 5, it just says this: when you enter a house, first say peace to this house. And I learned about this when we lived in the Philippines, actually, and it was a real game changer, because if you understand that the blessing that the priest spoke to the people in Numbers chapter 6, the climax of it is to speak peace. And so it's kind of saying, go into your world with this attitude, I'm there to be a blessing. And I'm there to bring peace, and peace in the Hebrew thought shalom is wholeness. I'm there to bring God's goodness and blessing and peace into my world. And it's kind of a bit of a game changer. It's almost like changing your glasses and putting on these lenses, like, how would I see my world differently if I'm looking through the lenses? My first responsibility, my first job as a follower of Jesus is to be an agent of God's blessing and wholeness and peace and shalom into my world. And it's like, okay, that's my primary calling. And so to think, man, my neighbors on my street, my classroom, the hospital ward, the business I'm in, I'm there to be a blessing. I'm there to bring peace. And that may just highlight certain aspects of your environment to go, hey, there's a need for God's wholeness in here. There's a need for God's peace here. There's a need for God's blessing there. And I want to be the person that makes my world a better place because I'm a channel of God's blessing and peace. But then Jesus kind of unpacks the strategy even more, because he's like, verse 7, here's a pretty simple strategy, like eat and drink with people, build relationship, have meals, have conversations, get to know the people in your world. And he actually repeats it down in verse 8, and it's like, it's pretty simple. It's like, hello, if you want to be on mission, start talking to the people in your world. And again, maybe it's like, say hi to the neighbors as they're walking their dog past, and have a chat with the person at the checkout at the supermarket. Talk to the Uber driver. Invite someone for coffee at work. Invite someone for lunch. And just start to build relationship and begin to understand more the world and what's going on for them. And Jesus actually says, as you do that, look for a specific kind of person. And he talks about verse 6, he talks about if you find a person of peace. In Greek, it's actually if you find a son of peace. In the Greek thinking, they talk about sons of thunder, sons of perdition. It's like, it means that's their character. And it's like, they might not be Christians, but someone else who has a heart for peace, for shalom in your world. And as you're talking to them, you maybe pick up their burden. You maybe see something through their eyes. You maybe build a partnership that opens some doors because of their concern for something in their world. But it's like, I go in and I want to bring blessing and peace. And I'm just starting to build relationship in my world and to think about who I can intentionally build relationship with. And I'm attentive to when I find someone that seems to have a similar heart even when they're not necessarily a follower of Jesus, but they want what we want. They want good things happening in their world. And so in the midst of that, then Jesus goes on to say, pretty radical, like heal the sick, which really is saying, as you've committed to going out and with the lenses of peace and blessing, and as you've built relationship, you come across places of need. You come across places of pain. And it's like, be God's answer there. Be a vessel of God's blessing and hope to that point of pain. And maybe it is a spiritual thing of offering to pray for people, to share the gospel. Maybe it's practical needs. Man, as you talk to someone, there's a young family down the street, the wife's pregnant, they haven't got a cot. It's like, maybe we could help them out. There's an elderly couple, he's had a stroke, they're struggling to maintain their garden. Maybe we could fix the garden for them. Maybe there's a family that has some need for an extra bed for children or something, but it's like as you go with a heart of peace and blessing, as you talk to people, you identify some need and you go, man, we could be the answer to that need. We could help in that area. And so Jesus is like, go with blessing, eat with them, show them the gospel in some practical ways, and then his final point then is and tell them God's kingdom has come to you. Like, say that, man, the reason, if it's appropriate, to kind of go, hey, the reason we're doing this is we just want to show you God's for you. We want to show you that God wants the best for you. And maybe you can unpack more of that. But interesting, Jesus puts that as the final point. Like it's go with blessing. Eat with people, talk with people, drink coffee with people, get to know them, get to know their world. Have your antenna up for people who have a similar heart. Identify a point of need and be God's answer to that. And then if that creates an opportunity, tell them then that there's this good God who is for them. So I'd love it in your Connect group just to think about this, like, who are the people, well, first of all, do you need to change the lens that you look at your world rather than opposition or conflict? No, I'm there to be an agent of God's blessing. I want to walk into my world tomorrow with an attitude, I'm there to bless people and bring peace. But secondly, maybe this is the thing, who do you need to intentionally build relationship with? Who do you need to pause, stop rushing past being busy and kind of go like Jesus, this is a divine appointment. I'm actually going to slow down and talk to this person. And as you're talking to them, is there some point of need that you hear about that you can bring back to your Connect group and say, hey, I was talking to my neighbor, they're walking their dog, they told me about this family on our street who have this real need. I think we could do something for them. Or I was talking to this woman who's a teacher, said in their class they're struggling with this issue. I think we could help them. And then come up with a strategy to be God's answer to their need. And then if there's an opportunity to kind of share why you're doing this, that you just want to be God's agent of goodness and blessing into your community. I pray that you go on an exciting venture of being God's arms and legs of hope and peace and blessing into your community, and that you could follow these simple steps. Some of you might remember this acronym BEST, B-E-S-T. Go with blessing, eat with people and talk with them, show them the kingdom through practical ways, and then if there's an opportunity, tell them the good news of a God who's for them and brings them salvation and life. God bless you as you go on this journey of mission as a Connect group.